Hi. um, I've been arguing with myself whether to post this video because of, I suppose, the conflict and the triggering effect that it will have. But I thought, I've got to be true to myself, and yes, I'm going to talk about it. But in the past, I've had a lot of arguments and with friends, with people who aren't my friends, Facebook, in person, just everywhere, since I was probably the age of 16, about, I suppose, discrimination against women in history and in modern day life. So it hasn't been I think about the last 2 years, I really came to terms with, I suppose, the word feminism and that I would probably identify as a feminist. I used to feel this sense of shame, or I suppose I didn't really understand what the word meant because of the way that other people described the word feminist, with a lot of negative imagery, I suppose. So basically, I'm a feminist, firstly because I believe in equality, and that is at the core of what feminism is. And you may have your reason for disliking the word, which I respect, but, no one should have to label themselves because a group of people is telling them to, or because, an angry guy tells you, oh, you're such a feminist. You shouldn't have to call yourself that just because you are speaking up about women's rights. But personally, feminism, the word, isn't a negative or disgusting word for me to use, even though for decades this word has been used against women to, I suppose, make their arguments invalid, which is wrong. Feminism is supposed to be a group of people who are trying to gain rights for women and opportunities. These rights and opportunities, when they are gained, aren't used to overthrow men and to take away their opportunities, but it's basically just to give women a chance to show what they're made of. Secondly, I'm a feminist because of the discrimination of women all throughout the world and throughout history. No one should be treated secondary. No one. Based on class, based on gender, based on race, based on disability, people shouldn't be discriminated against. And I suppose I've seen people discriminated against for being a woman, merely for that fact. So I've explained a couple of reasons why I'm a feminist, but I also want to address a couple of things while I'm here. Basically, I find it really unfortunate that there are still guys out there who really feel strongly against feminism, and they actually make it their hobby and part-time job to permeate this hate and, discriminatory behaviour. Basically, they're spreading this toxic opinion that all feminists are raging, angry lesbians that have a vendetta and hate towards men, and they want to eradicate men off the face of the earth and take their jobs, which isn't true. That is not what feminism is, and I'm sorry if that's what you believe it is, and I'm sorry that there was like a crazy radical feminist out there that probably did give you that opinion. There are always going to be crazy radical people within any group of people. If there's a group of Christian people at a church, there'll be one that's crazy, or if there's a group of Muslim people, there'll be a crazy extremist. If there's a group of, men hating women, I don't even know what I'm saying, but there's always going to be an extremist in any group that will ruin a name for something. Even vegetarianism, like there'll always be one vegetarian person that kind of annoyed you and made you think that all vegetarians are these really fussy people who try and make the world difficult. There's always going to be a crazy person. Anyway, what was I talking about? Basically, feminism without feminism, women wouldn't have the vote, women wouldn't be able to be politicians, women wouldn't be able to be taken seriously in the workplace, be, the CEOs of companies, they wouldn't be able to play sport on the weekends. Without feminism, I wouldn't even be able to make this video. It's that simple. Because back in the past, in, the 1800s, women were not even allowed to voice their opinions. So feminism is a very important thing, and I feel very strongly about it. And I know that women in the Western world have so many opportunities. There's so many opportunities that women don't get in third world countries, and I am so grateful and so lucky to be here. But in saying that, there are still things that we need to be doing to I suppose, give women rights and give them opportunities. There are still women dying in domestic violence situations in Australia. I think it was 1 in 3. Don't take my word for it, but it was something like that. 1 in 3 women will experience domestic violence. What else? Rape culture on campuses, on college campuses in America, in Australia. The results are shocking of just how often these cases have been reported, and the colleges don't take it seriously. It's just, I suppose, just the culture as well. Women just being sexually assaulted in public or sexually harassed in the workplace. This is stuff that we live with here in the Western world, like in Australia, in America, in England. But obviously there are women that are in much more trouble than we are in. Genital mutilation is still a thing. Child brides still exist. Sex trafficking. It's unbelievable. So I suppose I feel very strongly about this because I am a woman, but I also feel like men should take this just as seriously as we do. And, when I meet a guy that's really open to talking about these things and encourages this line of thought, it's so attractive because so many men just don't want a bar of it and don't want to talk about it. Let's take the negative connotation away from feminism and let's all believe in equality. And yeah.